Welcome YouTube to UFC Talk Point. On today's agenda on episode 2, we're going to be talking about the year of champions, who's going to be the champion by the end of 2021. We're going to be talking about GSP KHABIB, Overeem Volkov. Let's begin the show. Starting off with the year of champions. Obviously, we're going to be going through the divisions and we're going to be looking at who we predict the champion's going to be in each weight class. I'm going to let Farhan take over. Starting off with flyweight, who's your prediction for this?
My prediction, Brandon Moreno. He's one of the youngest fighters in there. I can't remember what season of the Ultimate Fighter he was, but he really impressed me. And the last fight with Alex Figueiredo, the champion, he proper impressed me. Like, he's young, he's hungry, and yeah, young fighters always succeed because they are hungry. Like Alex Figueiredo, he's at the time, yeah, his time's coming to an end, yeah. I think Brandon Moreno is going to take it any day. I think.
Have you got any other input, Shiraz, on that one?
No, I've got to agree with him. The man knows what he's on about.
Yeah, same here. I think always the young and hungry ones are the ones who are always going to be at the top of the division for me. Are there any rumors of them fighting this year?
I think the last fight, the fight they had, it was so after the fight out to an interview, I think they both wanted to take it back and do it again. But it's like there's another person who I might consider, and that's Henry Cejudo. But it's if he comes back. Because like you said, yeah, after his Dominic Cruz fight, he had a girl. I thought more for him and he's got a kid, but he had a fucking girlfriend.
See what Uncle Dana has for him in store. To be honest.
Exactly, man. It's a pandemic, mate. We don't know what's going to happen.
If you want to be the best, you got to be the best, isn't it? He's got to sign a contract that says he's the best. So see what he does.
100%. Yeah. Moving on to bantamweight, we've got Peter Yan as the champion. What's your prediction on that one?
Bantamweight. Another thing, like there's a couple of men like Cody Garbrandt. He's still floating somewhere, even though he may not be in the rankings right now. He's still about there somewhere. Thomas Almeida, he was a good youngster. He really looked all of it. Thomas Almeida, but fight against Cody. What Cody said, I want him to look.
Third in the rankings.
Anyway, as I was saying, Thomas Almeida, I mean, he fought good until he fought Cody Garbrandt, then we actually saw what he would. But then again, like Cody, obviously, man, the top fighter, there's TJ Dillashaw. He hasn't announced retirement or anything. I think he's taking maybe 2 years out or something. He'll be back, I'm sure. And obviously, the Dominic Cruz, I would like at the time. I would say he's gonna come back, beat the champ. Obviously, there's Triple C, but their match, Triple C versus Dominic Cruz, like that shit was bare cons and bare like it's bare fuck. Like, cause their man argued, even Dominic Cruz argued right after the fight, like to the referee, why the fuck you stopping the fight? He got knocked down on the floor, alright. He won't clean out or anything. He was making his way back up. And a daft cunt of a referee thought, yeah, I'll call the fight off. They can't be doing that shit, yeah. That shit don't work.
So are you suggesting that UFC get some sort of VAR technology, like second, third, fourth ref, and then sort of like a linesman as well included?
It's a tough one, isn't it? Because it's up to the ref to make that call, and if he thinks it's a done deal, he's gonna call it off, ain't he?
Yeah, it's not the first
fight. I get you.
Like, there's always fights you hear.
Yeah, I think Dominic Cruz is going to be champ. That's it. I just think Dominic Cruz will be champ.
All right, so I echoed the same, and I'm sure Shiraz echoes the same thing that Farhan's just said. Moving on to like featherweight, this for me is an obvious one. I think Max Holloway, after the performance against Alvin Kattar,
easy.
His
fight against Calvin King. Like we all saw Calvin like everyone saw Calvin K as the top fighter. Yeah, he knocked out Jeremy Stevens, proper nasty knockout. And Jeremy Stevens has been around for a long time. He's for a lot of fighters. But the way Calvin K knocked him out looked proper impressive. But then, like, he just got dominated by Max Holloway. Like, Max Holloway, I thought he got robbed last fight against Alexander Volkanovski. Like, that shit, like, I thought he got robbed. Yeah, that's it,
Got to
really.
keep an eye out for
Like,
third in the ranking as well. Zabit from Russia. He's sort of making an impact in the division. Can't rule him out as well. His game seems to be on point, but we'll have to wait and see who he's got next.
Another good fighter who's come back, who's next in line for a title shot, Brian Ortega. Like, he's come back, but when he fought Max Holloway, I think it was back in 2017 or 18, like, he got wrecked up by Max. Yeah, Max done over nasty. Fucked him up.
Yeah, and for me, it's going to be Max Holloway. I think he's displayed technical ability beyond like his. Because even when you look at it, he was talking to the commentators whilst actually fighting, and like obviously we know like Calvin's no joke. You know, Calvin's not like something to mess about. And he just had that like instinct. He seemed to have stepped up a gear. For me, as long as Holloway is motivated and he wants that title, I feel like that title's for him to take.
Yeah, and just I'll throw something else into the mix. Like, obviously, there's another big name out there. That's if he decides to drop back down to featherweight. Like, I like to see him drop down to featherweight because obviously at the moment, lightweight and welterweight, I don't see him doing it in any of them divisions. And featherweight is a division where he actually done something good. He was actually one of the top contenders. I like to see him drop down, see what he's got left, see what he can do.
So obviously, moving on to the next weight class in lightweight, Khabib Nurmagomedov. Will he return is the question. Will he retain it or will it be taken away from him? Obviously, we know the whole saga behind the championship at the moment. Dana's giving him a moment to, kind of just grieve his father and see if he wants to make back. Obviously, we know how competitive the lightweight's become recently with Dustin Poirier putting in a fantastic performance. Justin Gaethje as well. We've got Charles Oliveira, Michael Chandler. We've got a lot of fighters within the division who have an opportunity to take that championship. This is one of the tough ones. But first, I'll go over to you, Farhan, and let's see what you've got to say.
No. Like, I say, I do see Khabib going back. I see him retaining it. Maybe having just one fight this year, and that fight being with the number one ranked Poirier. I see him retaining it any day. Like, at the end of the day, you got to look at he's a fighter. Alright, against Gaethje at the end, he said what he said. He said he's gonna retire, but like we've seen him at all these MMA events and all this, all that. Yeah, he'd been everywhere. Like, he was on Dana White looking for a fight. The latest episode, he was on there, and yeah, one should a fighter though with a fighter. Like he was saying, all he knows is fighting. Like, I think he'll return if anything. I think.
Yeah, because he's been coaching his family as well, coming to their events, the cousin event that we've seen recently. So he's still in the game.
Was to help his cousin speak English, get through the interviews. I think that was the biggest reason he was actually there.
Well, exactly. So,
I think with Khabib, I think he'll return and just like I said, have the one fight against Poirier next year. I mean, this year, and then next year is a different story. Yeah, because I think next year Charles Oliveira will get the opportunity. Then from there, we'll see who becomes.
So obviously we know how competitive this lightweight is. Just talking on it, who do you reckon has the biggest chance, in your opinion, on beating Khabib, or who has the style to be able to beat Khabib?
Probably got to be Khabib himself if he fights himself.
Not even a bear could take it.
For me, it's always been between two fighters, Tony Ferguson and Charles Oliveira. I know that Ferguson, at the moment, he lost his last two fights. All right, but I still think Tony Ferguson will contender. Charles Oliveira, on the other hand, like I said last video, he's going on an 8-5 win streak, 7 finishes, 1 decision. For me, that says a lot. And obviously, you've got to look at it. Some of his 7 finishes have been KOs. Some of them are submissions, so he can do everything.
Yeah, that's the one fight that everyone wants to see, but always gets called off. But obviously, we know what the lightweight's like, so we do think Khabib by the end of the year, if he does decide not to get, well, he's decided to give the title up, but Dana wants him to stay. But obviously, in our opinion, as long as he has a fight this year, he will be the champion unless it's taken from him. Obviously, we'll move on to welterweight, which obviously currently is held by Kamaru Usman. Is there anyone who can take him on right now, do you think?
Well, if you go down further on the list to make a name, that's a bit interesting.
Gilbert Bandit fighting him in 2 weeks. Is it on the 14th of Feb?
No, in a week.
Yeah, the name that
one day. Next Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's the Saturday after something. It's soon anyway.
It's Saturday coming. Not this Saturday, the Saturday after. So following Saturday.
Or Saturday after, no worries. But who I think is going to be champ is the number 15 rank. Yeah. Khamzat Chimaev. Yeah.
He's gonna be. He doesn't ever make the
list. I mean, he did fight in the space of like, what was it, 3-4 days or something? 2 different opponents within the space of 10 days. Yeah.
2 different divisions apart, and both finishes. Like the thing is about Khamzat Chimaev, he's like I said, he's young. He's hungry for it. I think he'll win it. Like, obviously, when you're in Chimaev's position, fights get thrown at you. And when opportunity comes, it's easier to take opportunity than to wait and wait and wait.
We'll have to see how he performs in his next fight against number 33,
Leon
Edwards. Because no offense to the guy that fought, but
Chimaev, I think he's the only fighter in that top 15, probably alongside someone else, but he's undefeated. So he hasn't tasted defeat. Even Kamaru hasn't tasted defeat. I'm not too sure when. He hasn't tasted defeat in the UFC, but he has tasted defeat.
In his professional career, yeah.
Yeah, he has tasted defeat.
We'll see, like I say. I think that fight's in March, mid-March, so a few weeks.
Yeah, then again, taking defeat can work with you and against you. It can work with you. Obviously, you can learn from your mistakes and whatnot, but it can go against you to show, you've got a weak spot, you're weak and all this, so that we'll see. Should be.
Then we move on to middleweight. Israel Adesanya, my favorite, my guy. I don't think anyone's going to beat him. I think he's got that division locked down for me. I don't really see anyone troubling him too much to the point of taking that belt away from him. What do you think?
He's going to go to the length of becoming a 2-weight division champion as well.
Yeah, there's rumors he wants to move up, isn't there? Like he wants to go fight like
there's a fight scheduled.
He's fighting Jan Blachowicz on the something of March, I think.
Last week of March, last Saturday of March, the fight.
Now, what I see, Israel, so he beats Jan Blachowicz in March, and then I see Robert Whittaker coming back to win the middleweight belt, because there'll be no Israel to stop him. I mean, he's going to win the light heavy belt, and he's going to stay there for the rest of the year.
Do you not reckon he'll move between the weight classes just to maintain the 2 belt?
No,
I don't think.
It's going to be tough.
I don't. Yeah.
So you reckon that'll be Robert Whittaker?
Hands off for both middle and light heavy. So yeah, you can skip the heavy.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
to be
obviously,
honest,
if the move does happen, I reckon he'll beat Jan as well. And obviously, if he's going to stay there, he'll be the champion by the end of the year on that one as well. Obviously, we're moving on to the final weight division for today's video, which is heavyweight, currently held by Stipe Miocic. What do we reckon? Is that going to be still the case? Because I think Francis can beat him.
really,
Yeah, you got that fight coming up. Like Francis maybe, but then again, like
going off
John
their fight in the
Jones.
past, it turned out one way. Then Stipe turned out he came out on top. But obviously, we've got a guy that's not in the rankings, goes by the name of John Jones, and we'll have to see what you can do.
The GOAT, in my opinion. One of the best step in the octagon.
Yeah, I think it'll come out retirement. Take about of whoever's got it, that being Ngannou or Miocic. And then I can see next year he dropping so John Jones dropping back down to light heavyweight to fight Israel in a super fight.
Yeah, because their beef on,
fights.
beef on Twitter has been a bit of a crazy one. So
Yeah.
that does wrap up that segment of what we believe the year of champions is going to look like, who's going to be the champion at the end of 2021, going into 2022. Moving on to one of the biggest topics and the talking points of recent time, it is GSP KHABIB. This is one of the ones where we all want to obviously talk about. We all want to know the opinions of. Obviously, was it Khabib that called out GSP?
Not too sure.
No, I think it was along the lines of Khabib claiming he's the best to ever do it. Wanted to be the number one sort of position, even though GSP is retired for a few years now. But people are out there thinking, GSP can come back, do it once more, super fight time, put Khabib in his place. But we'll have to see how that goes. If that Uncle Dana wants to make it happen, we'll have to see what he can do of the fight.
I think right now it's all up to Khabib whether he feels like he wants to come back or not, because he seems to hold the power of the division right now. So I think that's just one of those that's gonna time will tell kind of situations. But yeah, it seems to be spicing up very well because of the fact that Khabib wants someone who's levels, as he says, someone that can actually give him a fight. And GSP, he's one of the most well-rounded fighters in the octagon. In some cases, some people believe he is the best fighter the octagon has seen to date. And obviously, Khabib wants to stabilize his legacy as the GOAT of the octagon, the best pound-for-pound fighter. Because when he got announced as a pound-for-pound fighter, you could see that's what he wanted. That's his legacy. And I feel GSP will come back and potentially tarnish that reputation for him and give him that hunger to come back and regularly fight and stabilize himself as a GOAT of the octagon. What do you think, Bob?
Like he has already done it against so he announced his retirement against Johnny Hendricks, and then he came back and fought Bisping at middleweight. He stepped up a weight as well, which was really impressive. Obviously, Bisping was the champ at that time. Yeah, it was probably impressive, but then again, like Khabib's been out for years, and if that fight is like, for me, it wouldn't really be fair because obviously Habib just fought last year, whereas GSP fought, I think it was like 17 maybe.
Hey, you're on about UFC fights. For all we know, he's like a bodyguard for someone and he's just messing up men left, right, centre for like some high-profile celebrity. You never know.
But you know what, though? The man Tyson Fury echoed the words of Conor McGregor about the ring rust. And like when you do take such a big break from the sport and you come back, there's a lot of ring rust. So that obviously will be a disadvantage to GSP going into Khabib. Because Khabib isn't, it's not like he's fighting someone that's, an up-and-comer. Khabib is arguably one of the best fighters that's actively fighting. Well, obviously, we don't know whether he's returning or not, but as an active fighter in the last sort of, you could call it in the last year or so, is probably one of the best fighters currently in the octagon. So, obviously, him after such a long time will impact that.
But then again, saying that about GSP coming back, I mean, he beat Bisping, so why can't he do it again? Why can't he beat Khabib?
I mean, Khabib's a tough fighter to come back
Yeah,
against.
but then again, what Bisping was a tough fighter because Bisping was the bigger opponent. Bisping compared to GSP looked like a giant. Whereas if you was to look at GSP compared to Khabib, GSP will look the bigger guy by quite a lot. Like just height, reach, everything all around.
What do you think, Shiraz? What do you reckon about this one?
It's a tough one. Like both men have established that they are one of the best of their times. Truth be told, whichever way it goes, like hats off to the guys. Like GSP, as far as mentioned, he came back, fought Bisping and beat him on a one-off fight, and Khabib was a guy that was dead close to retiring back in 2015 after suffering 2 injuries, and was dead close to becoming a bouncer at a nightclub, but his dad taught him otherwise and made him the man that he is today. So, but either way, respect to the guys. If the super fight does happen, whichever way it goes, they're both going to respect each other. I take it.
Yeah, that's the main thing, and they are both kind of your traditional martial artists who have a lot of respect and a lot of integrity when it comes to fighting. They're not trash talkers of the traditional sense. And yeah, this fight, I mean, is going to divide opinions. You're going to have your super Khabib fans who are going to say, yeah, he's going to maul him, he's going to wrestle him. And then you've got your GSP fans who are going to say, so this fight, I mean, it's a 50-50. It can go either way. I don't think, I mean, obviously people are going to say there's a clear winner, but I feel like that's a bit of fandom coming in. I think that's a bit of a thing of, yeah, I'm a fan of this fighter, so I think they're going to win. Not necessarily a factual, definite win for either until they actually do get into the octagon. How do you see this one playing out? Do you guys have any prediction if this does happen?
Like I said, Habib's fought more recently, but then again, GSP has done it. Why can't he do it again? And I would love for GSP to win. That'll complete everything. That'll complete everything. But if they were to fight, realistically, I think Habib would win if they were to fight.
What do you reckon, Shiraz? Is that the same thoughts there? Or?
Yeah, chances are probably looking stronger for Khabib than they are for GSP. Just going back to Farn's point of GSP being the bigger man out of the two, both the same height, but GSP has a bigger advantage on his reach compared to Khabib by about 6 inches, I believe. But again, when Khabib's got you in those sort of positions that he gets every other opponent into, it doesn't matter how big or how strong you are, he's always going to put you away. And that's what the Eagle does.
Yeah,
exactly.
Then again, say if Habib wins, I still don't think he's nowhere near the best. Like that belongs to GSP.
I'm sorry, but if he wins and he's still not going to claim he's the best, he could fight every mortal on the planet.
Do you know what the problem? Yeah, the problem is because it's mixed martial arts. There's no definitive and if you beat the man, you have to take the title. You know, it doesn't matter whether Khabib can't punch or anything. You know, as people say, he doesn't have the stand-up game. Like, not a strong stand-up game anyway. It's good enough to get him in, past the fight. But once he takes you down, there is no getting up. That's just the way I see it. And, if he does beat GSP,
you can come back from any GSP.
Until the fight doesn't happen, you can't, because people have said that about many fighters who's coming to the octagon with Khabib, but Khabib's just made them look like punks, really. Looks like amateurs against him. So, I don't know. I don't think, obviously, GSP will hold his own, even on the ground. He's got probably one of the best all-round games in the octagon. But that's a fight I would really, really look forward to. That is what I call a super fight of a traditional sense.
Yeah, let's see about. Yeah, we got nothing else to add.
Yeah, no worries. We're moving on to the final agenda on the conversation, which is Overeem versus Volkov, which is taking place Saturday, the 6th of Feb. And obviously, that's a fight that we want to have a look into. Let me just get all the stats up for you now. Obviously, we can see Alistair Overeem fighting Alexander Volkov is 5th versus 6th. Obviously, as you can see on the records, both very experienced fighters. They both got a long career in the UFC. Got 47-18 to 32-8 from Volkov. United Kingdom versus Russia. That's the rivalry, obviously, there. 6'4" to 6'7". Obviously, they're in the same weight class anyway, so that's not the reach is basically the same. The only advantage Volkov has is a few inches on the legs. Obviously, when we look at the wins, we've got they both are KO artists, I'd say. I don't think a lot of them, obviously with Overeem, he can take it on your feet and he can ground and pound, which is really, as we've seen with Brock Lesnar, his leg kicks as well to the body and hitting him in the liver. That's obviously something which he can do. Submissions, again, like it's 36%. So obviously Overeem does have the advantage on there. But as we can see, this is where the big differentiation comes in. Average fight time is, so Overeem's going to go for a knockout win. That's what he's typically, he's the stoppage man. He's the one who's going to stop a fight, not go the distance. And Volkov seems like more of a fighter that takes all the rounds. And then obviously when we start to look at the strikes and stuff, Volkov seems to be landing more. But then when you look at significant strikes, which in my opinion is more important, it's a lot higher for Overeem, which we'd obviously expect. But then when you start to look at like the defense and stuff, it's fairly similar as well. So what do we really see in this fight? How do you think this is going to go down?
They're both experienced fighters. Between them, there was like 100 fights there. Volkov, sorry, he led about 40 fights? 32-8, 40 fights.
40 fights.
Fights. The thing about Overeem, for me, joined the UFC well too late. He was busy doing his thing in Pride. Don't know why the UFC didn't call him a lot earlier. Like for me, he lost it. He may win this one, but I can't see him doing much more. And in an interview for Overeem, he said that obviously he's quite old now. He said, "That's it. This is my last run. If I don't get the belt in this run, that's it. I'm hanging my gloves up on one now. Calling it a day." Yeah.
How do you see this one going, Shiraz?
I'm not gonna lie, I've not seen Volkov fight, so I can't really say on this matter. Overeem, like Fan said, he has grown old. Probably will end up taking the win, despite not me watching any of Volkov's fight. But apart from that, I can't see him making too much more of a difference if he's got any more UFC fights left in him.
I mean, my opinion, obviously, Overeem has and Volkov both have fought a very long career in the UFC. They both have the experience to beat each other. But I just think Overeem's just got that power, even at his late stage in the UFC. He still has the power because he can knock you out. He can knock you out with punches, or he can take you on with the legs. His body shots are deadly.
Like that match against Stipe Miocic, I don't know what he was doing because he was fighting good. He's fighting proper good up to the point. But I don't know, he just lost his mind of concentration. And then Stipe hit him hard. He got Stipe on the ground, he was grounding and pounded him. He was going at him proper. Then I don't know what happened to him. Like, could have been champ that day, but yeah.
So, like you just said, he's got the ability to be a champion. So it's just that moment of concentration. If he loses it, that's when he can lose a fight. Yeah. But I think if he's on his game, there's not very many, in my opinion, who, because of his experience, I don't think, even his ability, just gets him through games. And he knows, his game plan, he's solid with it. Like I said, he's got a range of striking. If you're going to stop his punches from coming in, he'll just leg kick you. He'll kick you to the body. He's got a very accurate kick to the liver, which we've seen against Brock Lesnar, which absolutely destroyed him in that fight. He couldn't. Brock Lesnar after the second leg kick could not stand up. So we can see he's got the ability to take any man down. But yeah, no, that for me is just how I see it going. I think Overeem's going to take the win on this one.
Yeah, I think Overeem will take the win.
How about yourself, Shiraz? What do you think?
Yeah, Overeem for the win. Overall, can't see it going in Volkov's decision, unless Overeem just decides not to turn up, which I don't think any man would do in the UFC because it is one of the deadliest sports on the earth. But
yeah, you're not going to just want to turn up to get punched in the face now, do you?
No, but no matter how big the check is, I don't think that would be the case.
Yeah, you don't want to be a punching bag, not a chance. So
I mean, for $3 million, I may consider it, as a one-off. So, but,
I mean, Conor did it for that much, innit? So why not?
Yeah, but he was a he got kicks practice on him for his next fight.
So I think that wraps it up for the second episode on the channel. Do leave a subscribe, like, comment, and share to other people. We'll see you again soon. This is MMA Soul signing out. Go on.
Farhan, obviously.
See you later, guys. Take care. This is us.